Hello there, my name's Derek and I'm a web developer. I planned on doing a series building a website from start to finish using October CMS, but there has been some developments in the October community in the past couple of weeks. Recently, October made the announcement that it was going to become a paid platform, as you can sort of see from their website here. You can pay as you go. It's $9 per project, or you can pay $150 a year and sort of have unlimited projects. Or there's also silver and gold as well. Now, this is with October 2, and of course that's caused some issues within the October community. The new version 2, I've tried it out. It's actually, I quite like it. It's pretty good, and I think it does have a lot of advantages. But one of the problems it does have is because it's paid, it throws up a barrier for me to run a service, because I'd like to have people sort of follow along. There was also a split within the October community, and some lead developers formed an offshoot called Winter. At the moment, the two projects are fairly similar, and a lot of the stuff is interchangeable. But as they each take on their own lives, there's probably going to be some changes between them. But I guess we'll see how that plays out. So what I'm going to do is run my series using Winter CMS, because it's open source, and that means if you want to, you can download and sort of follow along without having to pay out any money. Anyway, so without further ado, let's get on with it. Winter CMS, as you can see, has quite a nice sort of website, and speed, simplicity, stability, security. So it has a lot. It's got all the features that October has at the moment. So it's quite stable. It's I think it's quite good for building projects and things. As you can see, we've got the features. It's pretty much what you'd be used to if you've dealt with October 1. And of course, we've got all these other associated things. There's a marketplace for the October plugins. Some of the October plugins have already been ported over for Winter, and of course there's a method for installing things. Okay, how do we get things going? Let's just go over to the docs, and we'll sort of see there's various ways of installing Winter. There's the wizard installation, where you download the software and follow through the prompts, and that's a pretty good way of doing it. But there's also a command line installation, and that's what we're going to be using. So if we click on that, of course, it's all Composer based. So let's have a go. I have my trusty terminal here, so let's have a go at this. So it's Composer, create project, give it the name Winter CMS, Winter, and I'm going to call mine Winter. If I spell it correctly, Winter Laradoc, because I'm going to be using Laradoc later on. So press it, and here we go. Of course, there's Composer 2 coming out, or was out already, so I should stop being lazy. Here we go, something's happening. There we go, done. Let's go in and CD Winter Laradoc. The eagle-eyed amongst you would have noticed that I spelt Laradoc incorrectly. Great at typos, one of my strengths, and so I've just used the trusty Unix command move. So MV Winter Laradoc to Winter Laradoc spelled correctly. Here we are in Winter Laradoc directory, so let's have a look and see what we've got. Yeah, looks like a standard thing. Okay, let's open it up in trusty VS Code. Now, one of the things I quite like about subsystem for Linux is being able to run Windows and Linux together. Of course, Mac users will be going, ha ha ha, we're already POSIX based, but yeah, Windows is slowly catching up with that sort of thing. So here we go. Here we are in VS Code, and as you can sort of see from all the bits and pieces around here, we've got the usual sort of folders that you'd expect from an October sort of winter installation. A lot of stuff that will be kind of familiar to anybody who's, you know, familiar with Laravel. So I guess the next step is to get this up and running. So let's go to Laradoc is going to be the next one I go to. This is the Laradoc website, laradoc.io, and Laradoc, if you're unfamiliar with it, is it's a full production environment for Docker. So it's just based on PHP. Some of the great things about it is you can choose your various versions of PHP and switch between them. You can choose different databases and do all that sort of stuff. So quick overview, it's pretty easy and pretty quick to install. So we'll jump over to terminal and get that up and running. Here we are in terminal, and all we need to do is clone the Laradoc repository into our project. So git clone https github.com laradoc.git, and as you can see, it's pulling it into the system, and then done. That's now given us Laradoc sitting in its own folder here within VS Code. So we need to do a couple of little minor tweaks to sort of make it sort of do what we want it to do. The first thing is this env file. We need to create our own. So if we have a look here, I can just copy all that and create a new file, .env, paste all that in, save. Now I'm just going to make a couple of minor edits to this. So as you can see, it's quite a long sort of YAML file, but it sort of sets up absolutely everything. Most of the settings you can leave pretty much as is. PHP, I'm just going to change that to 7.4. Leave everything else. Workspace, we'll leave all that sort of stuff going. The PHP FPM, leave all that. Nginx, we'll leave all that. Laravel Horizon, just as is. Make some changes to the database. Now, the database name, I'm just going to call into Lara, and the other stuff I can sort of leave as is. So there we go, done. Okay, time to crank up the Docker containers that we're going to need. So in order to do that, we're in the Winter Laradoc directory. We need to move into the Laradoc folder, so change directory, Laradoc. There we go. Just do a list. Yep, that all looks like it should do. Okay, let's bring up our containers with Docker. So we go Docker compose and detached mode. Actually tell it what to do. Then do the detached mode, and then we're going to run Apache 2 MySQL PHP myadmin and the workspace container. There we go, it's creating the Laradoc containers, creating the PHP myadmin, creating the Laradoc, and we're done. Time to go to a browser and see what's happening. So go to the localhost and we get an exception. Okay, exception has been thrown during the combination like template. Database is not connected up. We need to install October winter, sorry. So let's do that and see if this goes away. So instead of jumping the gun, let's just follow the process. So we've done the composer install part. This next part here, we need to disable core updates. That's useful because you'll end up with clashes between composer and the October update or the winter updates on core. So let's just go and do that. Right, so we need to make these changes. So we're going to config folder, we're looking for the cms.php file, we've got that open, and just scroll down till we find the little flag that we need to change. Here it is, disable core updates. Set that to true. Save that, close that off, and we don't need to touch that anymore. So we've done that. What this means is we can now run Composer to update the system. So don't need to do that just yet. The next part we're on to is installing it. Installing this in Laradoc is a little tricky, but once you get used to it, it's not such a hard thing to do. So we are in the Winter Laradoc folder, which is the project one, and we're inside the Laradoc folder. In here we've already brought up our composer stuff, so we need to run another command to get into the workspace container, and that'll allow us to make these changes. So docker compose exec, so execute workspace, name of the container, and we want it to run the bash shell. Okay. Right. Okay, let's just clear our screen. Now, you'll notice here we're now in var www, so we're actually inside a Docker container at the moment. So what we need to do to run the installation, php artisan winter install. Now, okay, database type, we're going to go for MySQL, so that's 0. The host is actually not localhost, it's the name of the container, which is MySQL. Port will leave the same. Database name was Winter Lara, wasn't it? Login was root, yep, and root password was root. First name admin, last name admin person, we'll just leave those as the defaults. admin@example.com. Admin login, we'll just leave as admin. Password, so make it password. This information is correct. Application URL, would you like to change the backend options? No. Configure advanced options? No. That'll run the migrations. There we go. Installing this in Laradock is a little tricky, but once you get used to it, it's not such a hard thing to do. So we are in the Winter Laradoc folder, which is the project one, and we're inside the Laradoc folder. In here we've already brought up our composer stuff, so we need to run another command to get into the workspace container, and that'll allow us to make these changes. So docker compose exec, so execute workspace, name of the container, and we want it to run the bash shell. Okay. Right. Okay, let's just clear our screen. Now, you'll notice here we're now in var www, so we're actually inside a Docker container at the moment. So what we need to do to run the installation, php artisan winter install. Now, okay, database type, we're going to go for MySQL, so that's 0. The host is actually not localhost, it's the name of the container, which is MySQL. Port will leave the same. Database name was Winter Lara, wasn't it? Login was root, yep, and root password was root. First name admin, last name admin person, we'll just leave those as the defaults. admin@example.com. Admin login, we'll just leave as admin. Password, so make it password. This information is correct. Application URL, would you like to change the backend options? No. Configure advanced options? No. That'll run the migrations. There we go. Okay, back to the browser with our error. Let's see if fronting the installation has got rid of that. Beautiful. Okay, let's see what we've got here. We've got the basic demonstration page for Winter CMS, which is a fork of the October one. So if you're used to October, this will all look fairly familiar. Slight change in colour scheme and logo, but pretty much the same sort of thing. So the overview we've got here, layout, so we can set default layouts in our theme, pages, partials for the includes content blocks, placeholders, assets, all looks good so far. Ajax Framework, so being able to, one of the nice things about winter and October is the Ajax Framework that'll takes care of things for us. So we can 15 divided by 5, calculate the result, and the Ajax will insert that into the page. We've got plugin components, so a to-do list, so component demo. I'll explore all this sort of stuff in depth when we go through the building a website with Winter, and of course the back end part. If we log into that, we've got our username is admin and our super secure password. Don't need to save that, and here we go. Don't need to save the password. So we've got our CMS with our pages and things already set up, media, which will probably have nothing in it, and our settings page, all fairly sort of standard sort of stuff at the moment. So there we have it. We've installed October. So thank you for watching. I hope you found this useful. If you have, give us a like and a subscribe, and that'll help me feel more inclined to do more of these videos. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.